It's Kim Drucker-Stockwell with Women's Survival Guide, and we're here with Colleen Landry Comedy, and it's a real treat to have you because I love your comedy. It's dry, it's funny, it reminds me of Irma Bombeck. For those of you who don't know who Irma Bombeck was, just look her up. If you're a female with a household with a husband in it, or with a husband and kids in it, or maybe you're a daughter, it's very hilarious. And have you ever thought about
Thank
that?
you.
That's sort of that your style is in that genre?
That's actually a huge compliment. My mom read a lot of Irma Bombeck, and then
Yeah.
I kind of rediscovered her.
Yes,
I'm
I have
sure
the books.
me too, anybody under 40, I'm guessing, probably wouldn't have a clue. But there's actually an Irma Bombeck workshop conference every 2 years in Dayton, Ohio.
Okay. I'm going to write that down.
And yeah, I mean, I went virtually during COVID, but it's on my bucket list to go. And there's an actual humor writing competition every other year. So I'm definitely dialed into Irma. And I have been told that my writing style is kind of reminiscent of her. So it's a huge
Hmm.
compliment. Yeah,
Oh,
thank
well,
you. I love her.
I do too, and maybe I'll explain. I mean, everyone is going to get some of your videos and links and whatnot, but I think the first one I saw, the first skit, because that's what they really are, skits, and I'm
Yep.
moving because the sun is
The
starting to
sun.
come in my eye. I'm starting to sweat.
There's no sun here. It's been raining for a solid
Oh,
week, so I'm just
God.
looking at those beams coming through your window and
Oh, well, it's good. They're going
envious.
to kill me. I'm going to end up like literally going in a circle to get rid of the sun. But the first one of yours I saw, and that's why I've got to contact this woman. There's no way you'd been doing it for 10 years because I'd have seen you already. And then I was like, so maybe it was a post 50. And in case anybody's wondering, that's what we do here. I interview women who have started something new in and around 50 or after. And this is it in spades. But so the first one I saw was the one where you come back from your mammogram, and so she's sitting there and her hair is kind of askew, and there's like sweat on your shirt, and you've got like mascara. These are very common traits in the visual. And then
Yeah.
a giant glass of red goblet of wine, and we'll talk about that too. But you were like, I felt like a princess. It was like a day at the spa, and the outfit, oh, and then it was
Oh, the
like
gown. When they hand me the
the
gown that I can
gown.
never figure out. Oh my gosh. Well,
I
thank
love
you.
that.
That one got a lot of traction, actually. I was
Hmm.
surprised by it. I mean, I never know what's going to appeal to people. I just sort of throw something up there every day.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people must feel the same way, not to mention the, anxiety of going and the unpleasantness of it all.
It's actually it can be just actually flat out painful. Um, which is sort of a drag. It's like,
People say I've never had that, to be
I've had
honest.
that.
You have. I've heard of
Yeah.
people saying that. It's just the anxiety and discomfort and weirdness of it all, I guess.
Uh,
Something we have to do.
Add that
So,
to the list of creepy, weird things that women go through. I mean, men have a few of
yes,
their own,
not
but
many,
not many.
not
But,
many.
throw a pap smear in there, and, if you've ever
I
gone
know.
through childbirth or fertility or any of those things, oh my God.
Now it's night sweats and
Right.
not being able to sleep. Yeah, I think
Mhm.
they won the lottery, the our better halves.
I know it is a little weird. Well, that's a strange thing, but so, and you have two grown sons that are both becoming doctors, and they enter in and out of the picture, but the other main player is the unseen. These are all unseen. Um,
Right.
Inferior designer as opposed to interior designer, but he's an inferior interior designer.
Right.
Your husband.
Yeah. It's funny. I started out calling him in the beginning. I was just calling him my husband, and he left these
Hmm.
installments. And then I called him my in-house interior designer.
I like
And
that.
then I don't remember how or when it occurred to me that it sounds like inferior. So in one of my videos, I said I mean interior designer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people seem to like that. So I would stumble for a few more videos, and then I
Hmm.
just switched to inferior designer. That just sticks now.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's a really good sport. He was in one. It was an
Oh,
ad for
okay.
Special K cereal. He
Oh,
was kind of just in the background eating the
oh,
cereal while I was talking.
I love that.
And he's fine with it, but I just find it's easier if I just do it on my own. I'm more
Yeah.
natural,
Yeah.
without people there. And when my boys are in and out,
Hmm.
one is 27, one is 29. I might do a video of their room or something like that, but they're kind of not in the picture as much. So I call them my apprentice designers. They're learning from the best.
The best in the business.
The
It is
best.
so funny. There was another one of yours where you do refrigerator scaping. And she opens the refrigerator and there is nothing in it. I've never seen a cleaner fridge. Like, did you go to Walmart or something and use a brand
I
of Sears?
I
And
had to take everything out. That one was a bit of a
it was
pain.
beautifully clean, but in it were like his keys, wallet, and what was the other thing? Something else.
Oh, the things he's always looking for:
Yeah.
keys, wallet,
Well, and your supply
of wine on
of
my
red
side.
wine, which I
Yeah,
just loved, and
yeah.
it was
Yeah,
like,
that one I had seen. Sometimes I'll look for trends, like the
mhm,
demure. I did a bit of the demure and
yeah,
forget what the word is now.
yeah,
And the fridge scaping was kind of a thing on TikTok. I hadn't even heard of it, so I thought I'll go with that. And
yeah.
there wasn't a lot. It was close to grocery day, so I thought, this is a good chance to clean my fridge and make a
Hmm.
video. So
You'll see that. That's. I mean, you basically it's. I do a similar thing in that I'll write about whatever's going on. Like last week, I wrote about I my interview for last week wasn't ready, so I just did like a personal essay, basically on decrapping your house before they come
I
home.
read that. I
Yeah,
loved that. I
and
meant
it's
to
just
tell you that was really good. It's true. It's so much crap. And
it's
I do another series where I'm going through the boys' bedrooms because who knows what to do with all their school stuff. They don't want it. They both live in apartments. They're not going to pack up a box of things on the plane. So yeah, I totally related to that article you wrote because of that.
it's a constant drumbeat, and I think it'll remain there for quite a while because even though I mean, even when they get out of college, they still are coming home, and until they really establish their own home or maybe get married or something, they're incoming, and life is so transferable. I don't want to say transient because it's more just mindfully transferable. Like I'm going to be here for a while, and then I can be there for a
Right.
while. So all their stuff is here.
Is here. I know. I know it is a conundrum. And it seems like back in our day,
Mhm.
I mean, I remember bringing stuff
It's like
home to my
out it
parents.
goes.
Bye. See you later. Where'd you say you were going? Okay. Be sure to write. Slam.
Door is yeah.
See you later. Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't go back and forth. I mean, I went home in the summers in university to work for a couple of years. And I do remember lugging all my stuff home after my mom had
Oh,
the house tidy. And I thought they'd be so delighted to see me and all of my things. And they never really were. And tying up the phone, like, I'm here.
right.
So it's a rite of passage for sure.
Hmm.
But it does seem this generation, it takes longer. I know my kids are studying for a long
Yeah, you've got
time. So
that's a big
I
thing.
love that they're back and forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've talked to a lot of parents, women my age, and they just said, oh, this one has moved back or this one has
Oh,
downsized. Would you
yeah.
mind just keeping my stuff, mom, for another decade? You don't mind? You didn't need that space, did you?
I think the part that cracks me up the most, and this is a consistent, I think it's probably consistent through the generations, but it's certainly very prevalent now, is this, but you're not too busy for me. I mean, it's me, like, or you're
Right.
not, I'm coming home and you're like, okay, I actually had plans. Like I know this is
A
shocking,
life.
but I
A
do
life.
have a life. And they're
I
like,
know.
but
And
not,
when they come, it's like, are you going to be hungry? Am I
I
going to
just,
need to
I
make
just,
food?
that is why I just asked to push our meeting time because I was at whole Trader Joe's and I'm like, I hope I can
I,
get back in time
I,
because the kid is incoming at
that's
like
hilarious.
2.
I was rushing myself because I just did a load. Um, yeah, just restocking
Yep.
after one of our kids left and lugging it all back in.
Yeah.
I know because I'm on my own a few days a week because my husband works out of town a few days a week.
Oh,
So I'm
that's
really not used to cooking. It is.
mhm.
Or planning meals. You know what I mean? I'll have a salad or I'll go out with a friend for dinner. It's just so
Popcorn.
civilized. I
Yeah.
watch my chick flicks. And so, yeah, when people come back, I love seeing them. But yeah,
And you're
it's
like
interesting because
eating.
I don't know how you felt, but when they were leading up to leaving to go to university, I honestly didn't know how I'd cope.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
I had 3 girls, so
Oh,
I think there's a difference. And they all were home. They didn't go to boarding school or anything like that. But it was a natural progression, and they were generally in a good place. And I'm already busy.
busy.
Um,
I get it.
I'm just
And
so
when they're
bringing
in a
it.
good place,
Yeah,
it's fabulous. And I must say, I did not take long to adjust.
yeah. But a
Five
lot of
minutes.
people, that's also why I'm doing what I'm doing, and why I think what you're doing is so important. And a lot of people kind of leave this, if they have kids that are going to leave, this enormous change at the same time you're probably into menopause. So it can be a disaster. And
Right.
I'm just like, I beg of people to just, if your kids are in middle school, think about it. Like, just think, like, do you want to go back to school? Do you want to, are you
Right.
working? Do you want to change? Just think about it. You don't have to do anything,
It's
but
amazing. It's an
oh,
amazing time, though. I find it so liberating.
oh my God.
Both my kids are in great places. I don't have to worry about them. They're
Yep.
doing well. But you know what? You made a good point because leading up to them leaving,
Hmm.
I did start to think that way when they were in high school. I've always loved
Yeah.
writing and I've always written off and on.
Hmm.
But then I committed to a blog. I usually commit to things when they're almost obsolete. So when everybody had done blogging, I'm like, I think I'll try blogging.
Me too. Well, that's what I did. I'm like,
Honestly, we're like the last two people. That
yeah,
sounds interesting. I'm just going to get some
hmm,
dial up
yeah.
and and I'm going to do it. I know I can do it.
I think I'm
So
gonna
I
start
started
that Instagram thing too. I wonder if the algorithms are gonna like me.
right Googling algorithms. How does this work now? But I did that. I started a blog
Hmm.
and maybe 50 people followed it, friends liked it, but it kept me writing.
Yeah.
Then a local publisher with whom two of my colleagues and I had written a young readers chapter book,
Oh, cool.
liked my
What,
blog and
what
said,
was
why
it
don't
about?
we, pardon
Sorry.
me,
What was it about, the book?
the children's books?
Hmm.
They're about a Canada goose, because we're from Canada, who has
Nice.
no sense of direction. So she said, we
That's
say she has
me.
no G. Yeah, me too. Well, we actually, the three of us were going to a writing workshop. Three of us wrote it, three teachers. And we got kind of turned around in a city in our province that's known for not great directions.
Yeah.
And we thought, wouldn't it be funny to write about a goose who can't find her way? So we call it her name is Camelia Earhart, like Amelia Earhart, the
Yeah.
pilot. And she has a faulty GPS, which we call her goose positioning system. So we've actually written 4 books in the series.
Oh my
So
God, I've got those sound hilarious. And my daughter's name is Camille. So,
is that right? Isn't that interesting?
but she does have a sense of direction.
Okay, she probably won't be able to relate. Maybe she'll have kids one day with no sense of direction.
Well,
And
if
she
they're related,
has her mom.
yeah, that's something I can give them. The inability to
Exactly.
spell and to find my way around in a car. Those two things
See,
are
we
special.
gave you something, kids.
Yeah, yep.
So I'm bad with years and dates, but I think we wrote one of those while right after our youngest left home. So I did have that on my radar that, oh, the boys are leaving soon. So I published the humor book. It's called Miss Nakowick Meets Midlife. It's probably on Amazon. And it was basically about the funny side of, when your kids fly off to wider horizons, which is what you want and what they're
I,
supposed to do. So it was very tongue in cheek because I was quite loving this phase,
yeah.
but about how they wouldn't answer my texts and how I'd want to take them tux shopping for the prom. And they're like, it's only going to take 5 minutes, mom. Can we go for a petty after anything? Two boys.
Yeah, they're like, no.
So I did kind of look ahead. So I think your advice is good, to kind of imagine a couple of years out when your kids are gone. What do you want to do?
Right. I mean, it could be a lot of ladies are taking up mahjong, like they're going, if they're, if they're not
Anything.
working and, or if they are working and mahjong's big or tennis or squash but I find, we do have a lot of content overlap. The, writing is reasonably addictive, and that, which is a good thing. Otherwise it wouldn't happen the same way. I don't do mahjong or play more golf
Right.
or all the things I thought I'd maybe fit in. I don't seem to, but
I'm the same. I was just thinking about that the other day. Because I just retired in June from
mhm.
a teaching career. So I thought, oh, I'm going to join pickleball and I'm finally going to learn golf. And it's
Right.
just not really entered my mind. I guess I haven't made it a priority. I still keep busy with walking every day and I go to an exercise class once a week, but I don't know that I'm not looking for it yet. Maybe I
Right.
will, but I think when you're a writer and you probably, you have deadlines,
Deadline.
self-imposed or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was a humor columnist for a few years. And unfortunately, the paper who I wrote for got bought out by a bigger conglomerate and they didn't need to
Oh.
laugh anymore, apparently.
I think if I were
Ugh,
Bezos, I would invest in local newspapers. I would just,
right.
but in the sense that I would create a foundation that had its own, like, separate, if anybody has a couple billion they want to throw at this, because there's no, we have a little local paper, but they can't afford, there's one reporter and there's not a
It's
lot.
probably, on the way out, sad to say. The writing was on the wall for a while,
Yeah.
but I loved it and I needed that deadline. It was a monthly humor column.
Oh, neat.
And and then when that, went by the wayside, I thought, well, I'll just keep doing it and pretend I have one and impose my own, but that doesn't work with me. But the content keeps me busy. I try to do a video a day.
Hmm.
And I think
Wow.
after Christmas, I will start looking for another home, maybe for a column, maybe online or something. We'll see. I've got to
So
get
how
back
do
to
you
that.
do that? Like if somebody were going to go and they've got some idea or whatever, if you're looking for a column, because there's so many different interests out there. How do you do that?
That's the thing. I'm not sure. There are a couple that I've looked at that are syndication websites. So you can, if you be part of their syndication, they pump your column out to various digital, I'm assuming, newspapers at
Yeah,
this point.
news break.
Otherwise, you just have to kind of fish around.
Hmm.
It's not an easy thing. I do have several columns that I own because I continue to own them even though I wrote for that paper. So my eventual goal would be to maybe put them in a book. So I have to just focus, find time to find a publisher.
Well, and that's what Irma Bombeck did. I have one of her box collections from
Yes.
1975. There's like four books in it or something, and I was just sort of thumbing through them last night, thinking about today, and they're long, some of those stories.
She's good. So she
Yeah.
is my idol, really. And that's
Yeah.
what she did. She started a small town
Hmm.
column,
Yeah.
and she's from Dayton, Ohio. That's why the conferences are there every other year. And then she just put them all in a book. That is my dream.
Yeah.
So that is next on my list. But it's good to have wish lists.
Oh,
It keeps you motivated and busy. I like to be busy.
I like to be busy too, although I do find I was talking to someone recently. Um, I mean, I don't know. I suppose it's different if you're on hormone replacement therapy, which I'm not. But I do find sometimes my brain goes so blank. It's like I'm amazed I can even walk and talk because I like
I
nothing.
get it. Yeah,
It's
it happens to
amazing.
me with words.
Words.
I'm not crazy about that. Yeah, you can just see them floating by. I know.
Just what there are times where I'm just, what am I doing? Like I don't
Yeah,
have any, there's a million things I should be doing, and I need
right.
to have a list of things to do in front of me, and yet the two aren't able to, it's like a car with a crank, which nobody knows what those are anymore, and they're
Right. I do,
not
sadly.
getting it to turn over.
Oh my gosh, I know. I've walked into rooms and thought, what? I know I'm in here for a reason. I can feel this is the room I'm supposed to be in, but
Right.
that's where it ends.
Yeah.
But the whole words thing is funny. And, my friends and I, when we go out, we're just basically playing charades. It's like,
E-
okay, I
Exactly.
brought my, you
Yeah.
put things in it. Purse. Yes. Second word. Okay.
It sounds like.
Sounds like, yeah.
So you
But
did stand up, which I always I always wished I could do stand up, but you realize stand up is, I don't have any thing about being shy or whatever, but the part that people don't understand is this is not improv, this is stand up. So you go with a set
right.
set. And so you've refined it and you've honed it and you've tried it on some people. Like that's a big difference between getting up and doing improv, and which I think I could handle. But when did you start doing that, and what got you to do that?
That I took a stand-up class actually. A stand-up comedian moved back to her home province, and I heard on CBC radio that she was having a women's only stand-up comedy class, 8 weeks. And again, it was really close to the time my second son left or right after. So I was wide open, really looking for things. And it was actually one of those moments where you just felt the universe conspire.
Yeah.
I heard it myself, and a friend who had been listening to CBC heard it, and she reached out and she's like, I heard this on CBC, you have to do it. And I said, I heard it too. Even though there was a bit of fear tinged with the
Yeah.
excitement overrode it. It was like, you know what, I'm doing it. So I
Yeah.
signed up right away. It was 8 evenings, really fun, made some friends. And every week we'd learn a little component of stand up, starting with what do you do with the mic? Are you going to keep the
Oh,
mic in the stand? And if you don't, you put the
yeah.
stand behind you. Just
Right.
interesting things. So we
Oh,
workshopped material together for
mhm.
the 8 weeks, and it ended with a show. And I
Oh,
was yeah, friends and family, but it was equal parts fear and excitement. And the night of the show, or the day before the show, she picked names out of a hat as to
mhm.
who would be going first. And I knew she would pick my name first. It's, when you have those weird,
Yeah.
and she did.
Premonitions.
Yes, but it was perfect. I really wanted to go first and
Mhm.
get it done. But it went well. I really enjoyed it. And it was like a total rush.
Mhm.
And I chased the rush for a while. So there was a comedy club in town before evil COVID shut it down.
Ugh, and it
And
hasn't come back.
pardon me, no, it didn't, unfortunately. It was really a cool spot. So it was
Oh,
perfect timing. A lot of us would hang out there, we'd go do open mics.
oh.
And I always did well. I always got laughs, but I never had the rush of that first show where I thought, surely Lorne Michaels is going to call me and I'm going to be on Saturday Night Live next week.
I'll be the
Clear.
oldest recruited comedian
Yeah,
ever.
that's right. Tokenism, I don't care. Just hire me.
Pick me.
So I probably did it, not a ton, maybe I'd say 15 times total
That's
at
a lot.
various. Not bad, not bad.
Huh.
So I was really wondering what my next step was because I did that over a period of a few years, and
Mhm.
it's a lot of work, fairly high anxiety because you just don't know. Usually for open mics, very small crowds, hard to get big laughs, hard to, you know what I mean, really
Yeah.
get the momentum going. So I kept trying it. And as retirement was coming, I thought, am I going to double down on that? Because the writing was wonderful,
Hmm.
but I don't know if you feel this way, but the more you do it and you find your voice, the easier it comes and the more quickly you
Yeah.
can pull off an essay or a column. So
Yep.
it wasn't taking a ton of my time to get that column out every week. And I thought maybe comedy would be my thing. And then, so I did that over the period of a couple of years, but didn't chase it hard. But when I was asked, I would go and workshop a set and perform it. But then Instagram, I guess probably a couple of years ago, I don't remember how I got on it. I just thought I'd try. Oh, I know what happened. During COVID, I started to do these videos that I posted on Facebook of how to accessorize our pajamas because
Yeah.
nobody was doing
Yeah.
it in the
I
house.
read about
Right.
that.
So
Yeah.
that's sort of how it all
Yeah.
started. But I
Ah.
was only on Facebook.
Hmm.
And so it was basically friends and family. But I got some likes, and a news channel heard about it, and I was on the news.
Cute.
So that was fun. I don't know if I posted every day, but I would, add jewelry or go from the kitchen to the living room, just silly stuff. But when the pandemic ended, I ran out of ideas and went back to my writing. Somehow, a few years ago, I thought, why don't I try Instagram and test it? Because Facebook is often friends and family, but
Right.
Instagram is the big bad world, right?
They let you. I mean, I'm the one who figured out I should try Instagram about a year too late because on the art for art,
Oh,
because I'm a painter as well.
oh, so you
And
post your paintings.
yeah, well, I have three different sites because I have my personal, which is locked, and then I have Women's Survival Guide, and then I have um, my name, Kim Drucker Stockwell, as a
Oh, wow.
yeah, but it's just it's just brutal. I mean,
Brutal in terms of likes or,
growing, growing.
oh,
Um, and so I think, and you can sell art, people, you fully do sell art from Instagram. So growing that way
oh,
is really great. I have not, one of the things I'm got to figure out exactly now that I've been doing these videos, I've kind of neglected to realize, oh, they'd be good for Instagram. You do clips. So I've started doing that, but yours took off like a shot.
it's hard to know, isn't it? I don't understand how that algorithm works at all, but I think you should keep at it because that's what happened to me. I would post for a while and I'd get, not a ton of comments. The comments I got were good. It was
Mhm.
growing slowly, slowly, slowly. And then I think I might have had 1,000 followers and I got hacked. And that was
Oh, you
just
got
so,
hacked.
yes,
Totally happens. It happened to my daughter, who's a
really?
singer-songwriter. It was awful. She
It
had
is
like,
awful.
it was awful. Yeah, and I've heard
It's
about it a couple. So what happened? What'd you
It's so
do?
insulting. Someone just took my picture, but in tiny print under it, it said something about sales. You could barely see it, and whoever took over my account was selling sneakers or something, and it just kind of obliterated all my stuff. I don't know how they do it.
I
So
don't
then I
either.
learned how to double authenticate. So now, if you're logging in even from another device, they'll
Right.
say, "Hey, is this you?"
Yeah.
So hopefully, I'm protected now, but. So that happened maybe over a year ago, and I just thought, am I going to bother? I really wasn't getting that far. But when my younger son graduated from med school, I went to the graduation, and one of his friends is an influencer. I wasn't thinking of being an influencer, I was just thinking of
Yeah.
putting videos up. And she said, I hear that you're on Instagram. And I said, oh, I got hacked. I'm not sure. And she said, well, I'll follow you if you do. So I thought, you know what, I'll
Oh.
try. And in the meantime, I had stumbled upon an article maybe in the New Yorker, but it was about a woman in her 60s who was killing it on TikTok.
Yeah.
Her shtick was fashion. She's a tiny little woman with gorgeous outfits, and she has a young daughter who said, "Mom, why don't you post a video a day? I'll help you." She didn't even know what TikTok was. And she has just gone viral. She works with brands. And in the article, it basically said women our age
Yeah.
are the sweet spot and
Yeah.
authenticity.
Hmm.
So I thought, why not me? I'm getting close to retirement. And that's
Why
when I
not
just said,
me?
right, why not us? There's room for everybody. And I thought, I've got nothing to lose. If I post videos and I don't get comments, it's not as scary as doing stand up. I just try again.
Yeah.
So that went off and on for months. It really wasn't getting a lot of traction. And then I posted one video. I really was about to give up. I sound all tough, but no, I was getting mad. It's like, nobody likes me. This is not fun.
Wait,
It is hard when you're trying to build something and
tell
people are
me
like,
about it.
I
Drives
know.
me crazy.
Don't give up though. I think
Oh,
art is a really cool niche. I have a friend who posts art. I'll give you her handle after and maybe
well,
you guys
that,
can connect.
but actually, I mean, forget that. That's one thing. I'm sort of driven to do that too. But the Women's Survival Guide, growing as a blog, it's doing fine. It's just,
I
it's
get it.
I'm just it's
I
not
think
like what you're doing where there's this interactive. It is. I just don't market it or I don't
it's tough.
do
I
it
know. And
properly.
I think clips, people's attention spans are
It,
limited,
yes.
sadly. So even clips of
What?
videos and little, but I don't know how to do that. I need
Oh
my
no, Substack
millennials
is
home.
fabulous for that.
Oh,
Substack, so I will take this video, generally get it very lightly edited. I don't like it when they edit this because they take out all the pauses and all of a sudden we're like weird. It's the worst.
right.
Um, I'll just edit the beginning and the end and then they put it in this cute little
How
flowery
cool.
thing. And then I uploaded Substack and then they take clips out of it and then I can download the clips. So now all of a sudden, and it's probably been happening longer than I'm aware of, but it makes it much easier to cross-pollinate onto Instagram
Oh,
because before
that
Substack,
makes
all they would have is a picture of, it was just so bad. It was like these pictures that who wants to look at it was just verbiage. So anyways.
right, right. Well, that sounds like a really good perk because
Mhm.
sound bites are what people want, and my
Yeah.
technological abilities are limited. So I love it when someone can package it up for me.
You
S-
you you would really, I think Substack for you would be,
I might
uh,
look into that.
oh, you should, a lot of the really big writers, I mean, they're making a lot of money off of it. I'm not.
So that, well, not yet, not yet. Two things I've learned to say
Yeah.
are not yet and why not me?
I
So
say why not in my writing a lot.
I love that.
Like, why not? It's
Why
like,
not? Other people are doing it. At the
yeah.
end of your life, you want to look back and say, I gave it my best shot. And the other really nice thing that I've gotten from, well, I'll tell you the story first about the one
Yeah.
that did when I was about to give up and,
Oh
in
yeah.
the
Yeah. Sorry.
fetal position saying, nobody likes me. I had come downstairs one morning. One of my kids was home and there was a collection of things on the coffee table. And, I like to have the house tidy. I'm used to that now. I wasn't when they were home because there's hockey gear and you know what it's like.
So
But
true.
there was like a ball cap and a sock and a guitar string. And my initial response was annoyance.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I'll try to make this into something funny and I'll post it. But really, I mean, I think I was still in my pajamas. I had no makeup on. I thought, luckily, nobody sees these anyway. So, of course, that would be the time the internet says, hey,
Hey.
check this out.
Yeah.
And so I said, oh, this is so pretty. I love how the sock grounds the space. I don't know where it came from. And then I put my phone down and I thought, and I heard my phone dinging. So I wouldn't say it went viral, but it really did get a lot of attention. I just started getting more and more followers. And so I sort of kept doing that type of video.
Hmm.
But what was I was getting off track. I
Oh,
was
I know
going
what I
to,
was going to ask you. Wait.
yeah.
Um, when you were curled up in a fetal ball, did your husband notice that you were bummed about it, or did you talk to him about it at all?
He knew I was putting videos up, but I didn't talk about it much because it really
No,
was uneventful. It was
I
just a
don't
little.
either. I just wondered if like that's the weird part about social media type stuff, like what you or I are doing, is that they don't really know what the hell you're doing. And he doesn't do it. My husband does no social media. So he'll hear it from other people, but
Yes,
but like if like it's not as obvious as you got an injury playing tennis
right.
or
Exactly. And when I did stand up, he would come watch me, but this is
oh,
different. Now, he's not on social media at all.
mhm,
Well, he is
same.
now. He did get on Instagram because I'm on Instagram. So I think I'm the only person he follows. But at the beginning, I had to say, are you okay with this? Like, I'm kind of poking
I did.
fun of you. You're not really a slob, but he'll just leave things in places, I'm not making it up, but he'll, yeah, put a dish close to the dishwasher rather than putting it in
Yeah,
the dishwasher, those kinds of things.
just
So he's like,
embellish it.
no, I don't care. Go
Yeah.
ahead, fill your boots. So yeah, now he asks a lot because,
Ah,
it's fun and it's kind of becoming almost a job for me.
yeah. Yes, it
But
is.
yeah, it seems to be that way.
Was there another before I asked about him? Was there
See,
something
my
else?
memory is shot. Yeah, I'll think of it as soon as we
All
hang
right.
up.
In the meantime, I'll ask you because people will wonder. So from a I don't I don't allow myself to think much about the financial aspects of what I'm doing because that would be sad. But it is hard to spend a lot of time doing something. And the one thing that gets me, it's not it's not just the fact that I make little to nothing on it. It's that I could be donating my time to something for the greater good. Like I could be, Mass General Hospital's right down the block. I could be volunteering there. And there are times where I'm like, maybe that would be a hell of a lot more fulfilling in some ways than either the painting or the writing or both. Though I'll always have to do both. It's just a question of what
Right.
does
I
that mean?
get it.
Like
I,
I'm
I
in three
really,
shows right now.
that's
Like,
amazing. I think it's
no,
so
it's not. They
cool.
don't sell. They don't sell
Yet, yet.
yet. I guess.
But
I
I
don't know.
think
It's
I think that
frustrating.
we make a difference in different ways. I think the traditional conventional thinking is, to volunteer at a hospital or at a
Mm,
school. I look at it like those things are all great. I feel I've done my part. I've
nope,
taught,
you did. Yeah.
hopefully made a difference in my students' lives, raised two wonderful human beings. And, at this point, I just really want to be a little bit selfish. But I think if you're selfish and doing what you love, you
Yeah.
do make a difference. I love it when people reach out and say, "Oh, I'm going through a really hard time. Your video really helped." That's
Right.
blown my mind.
That's
So, in a way, I feel like I'm even just, bringing a smile to people's
right.
faces or making their day a little better. So that's huge. And I think with your art,
Yeah.
beauty makes such a difference in people's days. So if you love it and you're good at it, and even these conversations with women,
Yeah.
if someone listened to this and had a child that was about to graduate and said, you know what, I've always wanted to, I
Have a
think that's a huge difference.
cooking show online. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
I the way technology is right now, you can do pretty much anything as far as that
Yeah.
sort of thing. Oh, I always thought about, we all grew up like cooking shows and like I'm all one of well, in particular my youngest used to do her shows. I don't remember what they were about, but I have like hours and reams of videos of her at like from 3 on up doing little
That's
shows,
so cool.
make believe, and in in their old days, you could still video stuff.
Right.
In our old days, it was just make believe. So,
Exactly.
and
I
then
guess
all,
anybody under 30 should Google that listening to this.
yeah,
Make believe.
yeah, exactly.
Huh?
They all made movies on the computer, growing
Right.
up, and they were hilarious. God, they're
Oh,
so
I
embarrassing.
bet.
But I think but monetizing what you're doing, is it monetizable through just advertising or like on YouTube? Is it? How do people do that? Because they're gonna ask.
That's a good question. I certainly didn't go into that even thinking it was possible, but a
Right.
couple of months after that video, and I started growing pretty quickly. I got to 100,000 in a couple of months. It was shocking. And
Oh,
I love my followers, by the way. They're hilarious. I
right.
really wish I could
But
just, like a
I agree.
community. It's like a, yeah,
I
I'll see you're one. But it's like a little gab session every day. It's so fun. So I wasn't anticipating that. But yeah, the monetizing, I really wasn't even aware of how it works. So in Canada, there is no monetization fund. There might be in the States with TikTok and Instagram. I'm not really sure. So every like or something, you get money. Do you
Oh,
know?
I have
I
no
don't know.
idea.
I
That's
don't,
not a problem
there's
I have.
not here. But apparently, well, not apparently, it's true. That is how YouTube works. Now I'm working my way into YouTube and
Now.
not getting very far. I definitely don't have the following, but I think once you get to a certain number, you can make money in YouTube. But after a couple of months of growing, a marketing slash talent agency from Winnipeg, and I think they have an office in New York, reached out.
Uh-huh.
And at first I thought, oh, how does this work? I'm not, cynical. I'm not paying for this, whatever. But anyway, it turned out to be a great move. So they look for brands that might want to work with me. I've worked with a few so far.
Uh-huh.
It's not predictable, but it's, the ones that have come have been fun. So
Yeah.
that is a way to make money. I do have merch, it's
I
my
saw.
lifelong dream. So that's up there, and I've made a couple of videos about that. So who knows? I mean, I'm hoping eventually a book, or I'm just going to keep following the path and see where it takes me.
I think it's so fun. I mean,
Fun.
you don't have to be anywhere in particular. And you can,
Yes.
would you ever, so would you take it on the road?
A good question. I wouldn't say no to anything, or I'm not saying no to anything yet, I should say.
Yeah.
I have had followers saying, do you do stand up? We'd come see you.
Oh.
I don't know. It's certainly building my confidence.
Hmm.
However, these skits are much easier than stand up. So I really don't know. I would probably be interested in doing corporate gigs.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? In the
That's a
afternoon before I
funny.
go to bed. The other thing about stand up that is
Yeah.
horrible is it starts at 9 p.m. I'm not joking.
What?
That's when I wake up on the couch from falling asleep watching Netflix and wipe off the drool and go to bed. 9 o'clock, I, find my bra and go out of the house. And then you have to wait till all the comedians are done. So it's traditional stand-up isn't really in keeping with
Yeah.
my lifestyle, which is boring. But yeah, a corporate gig at 2 p.m. Sign me up.
Right. No, I think that that's funny. So if you were doing like if you're going to address like, well, who would do that? Like pediatrics of, whatever. Like some like here's a little
Teachers,
teachers, here's a little entertainment
right.
for
I
you.
could do something like that. Comedy that I've lived, you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
teachers could
Yeah.
relate to. I'd love to do something like that. That's another thing that was on my list. Thanks for reminding me.
What was
Because we
that?
do have a big conference for teachers every spring, at
Yeah.
least in our province, and they always have guest speakers. So that was
Oh,
also, I have this list in my head, but lots to
it
execute.
helps to write it down. Look, like these.
Trust me. Oh, just one sec. I have to show you. I feel we're kindred spirits in many ways. Look, it's just, that's how my brain
Yeah,
works.
same. Oh, it's so
I,
sad. And the
that's how,
problem is if I don't pick it up and actually look at it, which I don't, these are notes. And I guess I somehow magically think that from here to paper goes into the head, and then maybe I'll look at it someday.
oh, see, I look at it every day, and there's nothing more gratifying than taking a pen and crossing one of the
Oh,
things out.
that's a
Love
different
that.
thing. Let me see if I have any of those hanging. Wait, that's a different thing. I,
Sometimes I'll even just add things to the list to cross
yes,
them off.
I'll
Eat
do that.
breakfast,
Wait, I'm
done.
going through my purse. You see. Oh God, I have such a great list. Well, but I also have daytimer. I've done
Oh,
a little thing on daytimers. I am
oh,
I'm addicted. I'm obsessed. Um,
obsessed.
I'm obsessed because what was happening is the night before for the past 20 years that I haven't had one of these, I would miss stuff.
Oh,
You'd think I might have caught on a little sooner, but no. I think it just took for me to have an empty nest and then have
right,
like because there's no rhythm anymore. It's not like, oh, I'm playing tennis twice a week and those are the mornings that or I'm going to work these days. No, so there's like no
right.
rhyme or reason to my schedule.
I
So
get it.
it's like the night before I'll look at this and be like, oh, okay. Phew, good thing I looked at it because I'd have missed that. Um,
Right. I mean, a
and
lot of people put it on their phones, on the calendars, but I'm just not. I'm more tactile. So I think I'm going to pick up one of those because when I'm at the hairdresser's
yeah,
making my next appointment,
right.
because I have a calendar in my drawer as well with
Wait,
bigger squares, you know,
wait.
I'll show you mine.
Oh, it's not here. Oh, well, never mind. It's in my office, but I
Oh,
have this giant paper calendar. So
oh, one of those.
I just have to, I can't think without
I know.
the
I
whole,
just have one like this. It's not too bad. It's got the rings and it's the
mm,
squares are big enough that I can put appointments. But I
yeah,
think I'm going to get one of those day timers because, when you're at a hair
these are
appointment you want to make for the next month, you need to
great.
know
I
what's coming
love it.
up.
I
Good
love it.
thinking.
I haven't lost it, and it's the same size as my phone. Now, the only problem
Oh,
is I have to do the phone too, because that's the other thing that I've gotten a little bit of religion on is at night, I'll check both because, and update one or the other because you get all these things that go right into your calendar on your phone. Um,
right. So you have to put it on your paper one as
yeah,
well.
but it's not the worst thing in the world because it gets me to kind of the whole time I was away visiting the daughter in Greece didn't look at anything. And then I came, and then 1 or 2 days, I like suddenly realized, like, oh my God, I'm fully out of control. I need to, you and I communicated, and I was like, I'm
Right.
actually not back until basically the 15th. So it's gonna have to be after, So I like went through all my emails and
Yeah,
synced it
I
up.
know what you mean. When you're away from your world, when you're busy, it's
Hmm.
lovely to go away on vacation, but you're kind of like, ugh, I just want to get home and see what's on my calendar.
And inevitably, it's like you're sick. It's like
Right.
it's something like that. Is there anything else we should hit on?
I feel like we covered a lot,
Looking at my notes here.
and you have groceries to put away.
Oh, they are sitting on the counter too,
There
because
you
I'm
go.
like, I ain't doing it now. Um, oh, I know. I had a couple things here. We hit most of them, but uh actually, I was laughing because you did something about how like moms or wives kind of repeat the same thing again and again, like, again and again, and the people to which you're saying those things to get more and more annoyed, which makes them less and less likely to do whatever it is that you're hoping they do.
Right. Isn't it fun?
Right.
I try to take all of that and just put them in videos.
Exactly. And then the other thing was getting pigeonholed, because I think I was reading
Right.
another interview how, um, like with the inferior designer, um, it's like once, and it's true of artists as well. Like you paint something that everyone's like, that's what I like, and you're like, okay, I- I'm not doing that anymore. Like, or I don't really want to do that anymore. And then of course you realize, but that's what they
They
want.
want.
Like you're writing
Right.
about, like I probably do something about the crapping, 3 times a year or something because there's, fall, spring, and then
Yeah.
whichever holiday that they come home with their Amazon duffel
Oh,
bags.
yeah.
And people love those. But you can't just write about that.
Exactly. And I did feel it at first because I felt so grateful to have all these followers that
Right.
liked that I felt I owed it to them. But I mean, I had fun with it for quite a long time and I
Yeah.
didn't run out of ideas, but I knew I was going to.
Yeah.
And I was kind of dreading it.
Yeah.
But I find when you're open to anything, something just presents itself. So I tried to just let it go.
Yeah.
And when we were away this summer, my husband and I, uh, we ended up in Italy, and there's always a kernel of truth to what I
Yeah.
post, but I
Yeah.
exaggerate. And
Same.
we were driving up this winding road with, the
Mhm.
cliff of death on the right and a tour bus coming at me on the left. Nobody else in the car was the least bit concerned, but I was spiraling and really like, oh, I'll be so glad to be out of this car. So I exaggerated that when I was there with the sweat soaked
Oh.
mascara, my eyes clenched shut, and that got a lot of traction. So
Mhm.
it gave me the confidence to know that if I have it under the umbrella of, passive aggressive, gentle sarcasm, usually pointed
Yeah.
at myself,
Yeah.
even the home decor, it's me being fastidious. I'm
Right.
hoping people
Yeah.
get that, right?
Yes.
Because he'll leave one sock that nobody would even notice, and I'm picking up on it
You're
and
like,
picking
I'm
it
good.
up. So then I thought, well, okay, as long as I stay under that umbrella, same tongue in cheek stuff, they seem to like it. So that
Yeah.
empowered me, I guess. Then
Mhm.
I did a few where I was pretending to phone my boys, and people would
Yeah.
like that. So I try to touch on all of them, but I
Right.
feel relieved that I'm not pigeonholed quite so much. But the inferior design did stick, and I'll show you this. I'm not sure if you saw this. Just
Show
one
me
sec.
something. Yay.
The
Look how
the
neat your
mug.
house is. Oh my
Oh,
God.
see, I'm the only one that lives here. I love it.
Wow.
World's best inferior designer. I had that. That's part of the
That's
merch.
I
So it's my,
Christmas is coming. Hanukkah and
yes, that's
Christmas.
right. So
And
it's kind of
Kwanzaa.
my anchor. I'll always talk about my inferior designer, my apprentices, but I'm happy to be able to branch out a bit.
Yeah.
So I do get it about the art.
It is funny though, the way that you see there are a bunch I pretty much only follow comedians and
Oh,
especially from uh the UK, uh men and women, and then
yeah,
whoever like fits in over here to, I mean, so, and obviously US. So it's what my feed is full of because that
same. I love it. There's so many good creative people out there.
it's
But
the
I'm in
best
awe of
part.
it. It's the best part of social media, and I'm in awe of your art and everything you're
Oh,
doing
oh
and
wow.
your wallpaper.
Isn't it awesome? I know.
And your shirt, your top matches it. You know that,
I know.
right?
Well, actually, if I put a hat on, it's camouflage.
Oh my gosh. You're in the jungle. You're in
So
Costa
when they
Rica.
come looking for me, I can just put myself on the wall.
Mom's not here. Sorry. It's on vacation.
Exactly. Well, Colleen, I am so, so thrilled. I was so thrilled when you agreed to be interviewed because I just love
Of
your work.
course.
Gives me great joy, always makes me laugh. And
Thank you.
I think what you need to do is like some some live ones with Zoom so we can all like see each other and laugh
Mm.
together. Yeah.
That might be fun. That would be a good
Mhm.
idea. You've
Then we can
given me
all
two
laugh.
good ideas.
It's fun to laugh alone, but
I
that's
could
what makes
hear the laughter. Yeah.
a comedy club fun is that you're all just doesn't matter your politics or your color or your
Right.
religion. You're all
It's
just
an
joy.
equalizer, isn't it? The
Mhm.
laughter. But I am totally honored and humbled that you would be interested to talk to me. So it
Oh,
has been a thrill.
thrill for me.
I feel
Um,
like we would enjoy a glass of wine
oh,
together.
or yeah. That's what, so actually I was doing these Zooms and I have been doing these Zooms and I keep forgetting to talk about it, but I'll be sure to invite you. It's at 7
Oh,
p.m. This hold on a minute. Uh,
okay.
I haven't even done anything about posting for it, but it's the oh, actually I'm gonna have to move it to Tuesday, November 26th. And
Okay.
um sorry. I just realized I didn't have it in there.
Oops, see?
I know. And made plans for the Monday when it usually is. But it's fun and it's like, it's not that big. It's like 10 people at the most that
Okay.
and we talk about whatever, but I've had some really fun Substack bloggers that have been on it. And
Oh,
I really think you'd enjoy Substack.
I'm going to look into it for sure.
Yeah,
I am.
especially for your articles and your videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really a great idea. There's so much out there. I wish I had a person, an
Me too.
IT person or whatever the celebrities have that
Yeah,
say, do this, do that. I would follow along. It's just to know what's out there and how to access it. But that's a
exactly.
really good suggestion. I do follow some people on Substack and think it's a great
Fiddle around with it.
medium.
It's really
Yeah,
it's like arts and crafts. You can like cut and paste and
that's
do stuff
great.
in a pretty limited fashion, but a lot of people will do stuff on Canva and bring it over if they want something a little zippier, but and
Good to
people
know.
like your articles or whatever you're already coming with a following, so they can
True.
do really well. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I will definitely look into it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And I'm
Thank
going to
you.
close here, but we can chat for a minute afterwards. So,
Okay, sounds good.
Colleen Landry on Instagram, TikTok, and
YouTube
YouTube. And is it Colleen Landry
comedy.
comedy.com?
Right. That's just my handle. So
Okay.
comedy, Colleen Landry comedy. If
Cool.
anybody searches for that, they can find me on all three of those social media sites.
Yes. And I'll have all
It
the links
was
and everything on.
okay. Thank you. It was a pleasure chatting with you
Me
today,
too.
Kim.
So I can't wait to see what you do. It's fascinating just to have such a big response it's been a couple years though, right?
No, it's only been about 6 months.
Oh
That
my
is
gosh.
I know. It was around April, 3 months before I retired, that I put that video up that kind of
Right. I
went
guess I knew that. I didn't realize it
viral.
was the first. That's so
Yeah, because that's when I was really thinking, okay, retirement's coming. I really need to fill my days. I'll give this a shot.
yeah.
And so I probably had been at it for 5 or 6 months and thought, this isn't going to work. Maybe I'll do stand-up comedy. And then when that one did go viral, so yeah, I think I'm at about 316,000
Oh my God.
since April. It certainly slowed down. At first, it was
Yeah.
a few thousand a day. It was amazing,
Wow.
but it's still growing every
Yeah.
day. So it's very encouraging.
Yeah.
I just want to harness it while it's hot. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.